Hello friends, welcome to our channel Techcorner English, where we break down the complex topics into easy to understand bite-sized pieces. So today we are coming with some different thing, and this is a normal request video. Maybe like in our Malayalam channel, most of the people were commenting that they want a video, they want multiple videos based on this topic, that is practical interview questions and answers. So when you are facing an interview, so what kind of questions you will be facing, and how would you be effectively answering the questions? So we were thinking like we will do multiple sessions of video, multiple episodes of this kind of video. But if you really like this kind of topics, and if you really want us to make multiple videos, please do comment, so that we'll be understanding like whether you are liking or not. So according to your comments, we will be going forward with this kind of video. If you really like, please do comment, so that definitely we will be coming up with minimum one video every week. That's what we planned actually. So let's start with the first question. And first question is this. You are asked with troubleshooting circuit where a motor isn't working. What steps would you take to diagnose and fix the issue? So let me make it clear. This today's session I have streamlined questions from electrical, electronics, automation part, and that too I have selected practical oriented questions that is based on the troubleshooting tips. So maybe next video we will go with the designing concepts, we will go with the different service aspects and transform particular component wise questions. So we will be coming with different kinds of questions, but today I have selected this kind of question, and you can even comment on what topic interview questions you recollect. If you want to know about the transformer based interview questions and answers, we will be doing that. If you want generator based, or if you want some specific subject, definitely you can comment on. So the question is like nothing like there is a motor which is not working in your circuit, so what you will do? And let me make it again one more and one more thing is that the troubleshooting is a like kind of an art. We have to go smoothly on the pattern from the input side to the output side, or either from the output side to input side. One by one we have to check each step, and you have to get it clear. Okay, this step is correct, then next step. Otherwise you won't be going to crack it out, or you are going to take a lot of time to crack it out. So step by step, a sequence method of troubleshooting will be the effective method in any troubleshooting kind of thing. So that anyway, after this session you will be understanding what I am telling about. So in this case, what you will be doing, first definitely the power supply you have to check whether the voltage are coming or not, or any power failure or not. And second, you have to see the connections of both input side and output side. Motor connections are loose, or is there corroded contacts or anything. And even if you feel like, first you will see the incoming power supply, is it coming or not. Second, you will check about the motor connections, and in between there will be any controllers like VFD, starters, contactors, which will be driving the motor. So you can see the input of particular that and output of the VFD. Like input of VFD, whether input is coming, okay, then fine. Then output of the VFD, if VFD is giving the output, then fine. So if VFD is giving the output means till VFD is output, the issue, there is no issue. So from there one cable will be coming, and from cable motor will be connected, and in between there might be junction boxes or junction boxes or any terminals as well. So you can check whether the cable is disconnected, you can see whether any connection is loose or not. And then you can see the cables, and finally the connection of the motor. And even if till motor the supply is coming and motor is not running means, then you can check the motor connections, like you can use a multimeter to check for continuity. And if motor is also fine, then there might be a winding issue. And one more thing you can see, if there is a gearbox or anything which is connected to the motor which is creating an overload jam that is not allowing the motor to drive, then you can just separate the motor and gearbox, and you can just test it. If motor is running means, then the issue is with the mechanical side, gearbox or whatever it is. But still it is not running means, then the issue might be with the motor. You have to just get motor repaired, or you have to replace the motor, and you can just check. So that's what you can explain here. You have to tell in this same flow, then only you will the interviewer will understand, okay, you have the deep understanding about the subject. So power supply you have to check, motor connection, motor checking, and if components which is driving the motor, and if it's a capacitor driven motor, you can definitely check whether the capacitor is fine or not. You can use the multimeter, or you can just manually try to drive the motor by manually pushing the fan on the motor or something, or the belt of the belt which is connected. If it is running means definitely there is a capacitor issue that is not allowing it to self start the motor. And if it's running, then definitely the capacitor is issue, the motor is fine. And if it's not running still means then the capacitor might be not the issue. And if you can see the overload protection, if there is any overload relays or anything, you can see whether it is strip, or if it's strip you can reset and or you can replace. So these are the 2 troubleshooting steps for such kind of issue. Hope you got the thing. And coming to the second, it's based on moreover on the electronics thing. You are working on a PCB, the printed circuit board, that is in powering up. How do you go about diagnosing the issue? So there is a PCB and it is not powering up. So definitely first thing you will be looking is physically whether any items are burned out or anything is broken out or anything. You can just physically check all the components are in place and there is no unusual thing. So that is the first step. And second, you can check the power supply, whether input to the PCB is coming or not. If input is not coming, definitely PCB is not going to turn on. If input is coming, then you can just see whether the fuses or anything which is the primary part of the PCB is okay or not. Now, in most of the cases in a PCB, if there is any voltage fluctuation, the fuse of the PCB will be burned out or it won't be, it will be damaged. So you can just replace the fuse and get it run. So that you can check, and you can check for grounding as well. All components are properly grounded and there are no open ground connections. Then you can check each component wise, like diodes, transistors, capacitors, fuses, using a multimeter, whether everything is functioning properly. If everything is functioning properly, then it's fine. And if the board has an oscilloscope, then definitely you can trace the signal flow through the PCB to locate where the signal stops. And once you get identify which is the issue, which component is the issue, you can just replace it and you can test the circuit again. So these are the troubleshooting methods. So these are the things you should do if this kind of issue happen. Third question is you are working with a PLC controlled conveyor belt system and conveyor belt keeps stopping intermittently. How would you debug this issue? So this is a PLC automation related question. So you know the PLC means Programmable Logical Controller, and it works, it has an inputs and it has outputs, and in between there are logics which we are writing. According to the inputs and the logic, it will generate outputs. So definitely if the motor is just stopping intermittently means there might be some issue. So that's what we want to troubleshoot here. So first thing you have to do is you have to check the inputs. Definitely if a motor is running, there should be some inputs coming like start, stop, push button, emergency stop, pull code, sensors. So if sensor is not working properly, it's not giving signal, or sensor is blocked by any external things, then this issues come. You have to clear the sensor area, then you have to see. So first of all, you have to check all the input sides whether it is functioning properly or not. Then you can see the program logic definitely. But if you are working on a running system, definitely the logic won't be having issue. If you are commissioning for a new, then logic there might be an issue. So but still for troubleshooting, you will see the same thing, whether sensors input are coming or which input is not coming. That you can check through the program, and you can see for any errors as well. And if input is coming and program is fine, it is generating output, but still it is not running means you have to see the output signals, whether you can even manually turn the outputs on and see. And if outputs is also on, then definitely the motor or the load will be having some issue. You have to see whether the load is having an issue or the cables connected from the panel to the load is having an issue. So all those things. So that is what check for overload condition and examine wiring and log events. Log events means in PLCs and HMIs we will be having few logs, error logs. You can see whether it is working or not. And coming to the fourth question, a three-phase induction motor is running at lower speed than expected. How do you troubleshoot this issue? So it's again related to a motor issue. It is running at lower speed. So whenever there is a motor related or anything, so the first question answer is fine. The way we troubleshoot, because troubleshooting is almost the same, but few steps we need to just take care of different things. That's all. So again, we have to check the voltage, the phases are coming proper or not. Motor load, you have to see whether it is under excessive load. Then motor winding, you have to see either using a megger to check insulation of the motor winding, or short or fault in the winding you have to see. And you have to check whether the controller which is driving the motor is working fine, or like VFD or not, and even if there is a overheating of motor or anything, then definitely it might not be working properly. So that also you have to check. And coming to the last question of this video, so you are working on a circuit powered by a DC power supply, but the output voltage is fluctuating. What would be the approach? So in your circuit there is a DC power supply, then how it? So definitely the input of the DC power supply, you have to check whether the AC input 230 volt or whatever the proper input supply is coming or not, that you have to check. If the input of DC power supply is coming means, then you have to check the load conditions. Maybe there might be open short circuit in the load or anything that might be disturbing the or fluctuating the DC power supply. So you have to test the load conditions, and you have to check the capacitors and measure ripple voltage. And later, like finally, you have to see the check for short circuit and open circuits. And if you find out some issues, then if it's internally, then definitely you have to see the component replacement, or you have to completely change the power supply and you have to test it. So this is the 5 questions and answers which we discussed today. And the key takeaways, as I told you, we are focused on troubleshooting tips. Definitely a systematic approach is the most thing. Follow a structured process for accepted. I told you, like if you skip the 2 and 3 step and go for 4, then definitely you are going to just get round and round. You won't be coming to a final conclusion. And second, you have to understand the system. If you don't know the flow, how the system runs from the input to output, then how you are going to diagnose it. So definitely you have to understand the system. And tools, whatever necessary for the diagnostic troubleshooting, you have to use it properly, and you have to understand how the tools are being used for that particular purpose as well. So you have to practice troubleshooting techniques and apply them to different scenarios. Definitely the troubleshooting techniques you will come to know when your experience become more and more. You will you will learn more and more, and you will earn. Definitely if you learn more, you can earn more as well. And one more thing I need to highlight is that for everything nowadays you will get the manuals. Like for a VFD there will be manuals. So in manual, if you see that error code, if VFD is giving a error code of F04, definitely when you check on the manual, you can see whether it is a overload protection, over current, over temperature, whatever related to the particular fault. You can see from the manual. You can directly get to know like what is the issue, and you have to find give a resolution to that. So the time consuming will be very less. You can just get it rectified as early as possible. So this is all about today's video. I hope you really like this video. If you want this kind of video, please do comment, and if you really like our channel, please do subscribe and support our channel as well. Thank you. See you on next video. Until then, bye.